Good morning, everybody. I am State Senator Pat Spearman. I now serve as President Pro Tem for our Senate, and I am so happy to be here. I've got a bunch of stuff that I was going to say, but everybody's already said it. So let me just do this. I'd like for everybody to just close your eyes, and a week from tomorrow will be Thanksgiving. And I want you to imagine everyone that's sitting around your table. I want you to imagine what you're about to eat. I want you to imagine sitting back, too full, but yet you're anxious to watch the football game. Now open your eyes. There are some families for whom tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, will not be that pleasant. We've talked a lot about climate change, and we've talked a lot about the money that is necessary to make sure that we at least try to reverse the impact of our reckless use, if you will, of fossil fuels. But I'd like for us to think about the human impact. There are some reports that say that as many as 6 out of every 10 deaths that happened in Iraq, and Mary, you probably know this, were the result of guarding fuel, convoying fuel, dispensing fuel. And unfortunately, or fortunately, people that are injured now on the battlefield live longer because of advancements in medicine. But the other side of that is living longer means that for many, it's PTSD, traumatic brain injury, multiple amputations. And that's just for the veteran. That does not include what it means for families. For when the veteran comes home and they have to adjust to a new normal. When the veteran comes home and the community that they left still rejects them. For the veteran who comes home and now because of injuries cannot find employment. When we talk about climate change and when we talk about the Investment Reduction Act, I want you to listen to everything that my colleagues have said, but I also want you to imagine what it feels like when we don't act responsibly and try to reverse the effects of climate change. You know, a few years ago, and I'm one of those people that remember, I had my first car in 1973. And I remember going and filling up, and I could get gas for about 22 cents a gallon. Anybody in my time zone remember that? Yeah. And I remember as the price of gas began to escalate, and it got up to $1.25, and there's some people, if it goes much higher, I'm not going to be driving. Then it got to $2. Then it got to $3. Then it got to $5. How much higher does it have to go before we quench our thirst for fossil fuels? And getting energy from people who don't like us. And they have a stranglehold on our economy. Because for the people who have to pay $2, $3, $4, and $5 a gallon, those are the people who bust the tables. Those are the people who are in the gig economy. Those are the people who drive the buses. Those are the school teachers. Those are the people who are working the minimum wage jobs. Those are the people for whom this is an actuality that is beyond research. They're our neighbors. They're the people we sing in the choir with. They're the people that we stop and chat with by the frozen food section. So when we start talking about why and the importance of the Inflation Reduction Act, remember all of the statistics. Remember everything that has been said. And I couldn't add anything to that, but I want you to remember the human toll. The human toll. One of my nephews asked me one time, I picked him up from school and getting ready to make him snacks. And I remember going to the microwave and putting the snack in the microwave. And he asked me, he said, "So Auntie, did you use the same kind of microwave for your snacks when you were in school?" I said, "We didn't have microwaves then." And he said, "No microwaves? How did you eat snacks?" I said, it's called peanut butter and jelly. Well, imagine 20, 30, 40 years from now, when your children are talking to their children or grandchildren, and they have to explain what it was like to go to the park and sit by a tree. What it was like to actually be able to go outside and play. What it was like to look up and describe a blue sky, a clear sky. What it was like to actually be able to breathe without an asthma pump. So when we talk about the importance of the Inflation Reduction Act, it's more than just right now. It's about the generations to come, and those generations, and those generations. And I believe we have a moral responsibility to act with urgency, extreme urgency, to partner local, state, federal, and international to reverse these adverse effects of our thirst, our unquenchable thirst for fossil fuels. Here in Nevada, I've sponsored several bills, several of them to bring back solar, but I've also sponsored bills to make sure that we expand our renewable portfolio standards to include geothermal. I'm heading up a task force this interim to look at how we might be able to include hydrogen fuel cells as part of our options. Things that I have said over and over and over again is that the threat that this whole climate change poses to us is not one that will be answered with a singular answer, but it will be multi-pronged. And so we have to look out and see every tool that we might be able to use. Why? We owe it to the families that will be sitting around the Thanksgiving table a week from tomorrow. We owe it to them. We owe it to them. Touch the person next to you and say, we owe it to them. What you gonna do about it? Thank you.